All right, guys, I've tried to film this 6 times. I know I've been getting like 20 comments a day. I'm sorry this is taking so long. I even have a little note down here to remind me some of the talking points. So let's get into it. After that motorcycle, he ripped me off the motorcycle, threw me on the ground. They towed my motorcycle to an impound lot, charged me with stunt riding, and I think that was it, stunt riding. So after that, a few days later, I went to the RCMP, which in Canada, that's like the state police. So I showed them the video, explained what happened, and the officer took it super seriously. He was like ready to write an arrest warrant for the police officer. Maybe he was slightly ignorant, but he was like a really good cop, like hadn't been a cop for many years, because I think any cop past 5 years of duty is probably a bullshit human. Personal opinion, I think they're all pretty shitty humans. Anyways, unless they're new. I've seen some new cops that still have like their soul. But anyways, so he was like ready to write an arrest warrant. He's like, I'm gonna speak to my higher ups and get back to you about what's going on with it. So 2 hours later, he reaches out, wrong gear. 2 hours later, he reaches out and tells me that I have to go through the agency that assaulted me. So I have to deal with Guelph police for the reporting of this. So, you like that move? So I had to go to Guelph. I made a complaint. They reached out. We did 2 separate interviews. After those interviews, nothing really happened. Like they said they would investigate it. Eventually I got like an official form in the mail saying that no misconduct was found. So I emailed that officer, who was a piece of shit, and gave him like, yeah, just unloaded on him. Then step 2 is go to LECA, the Law Enforcement Complaints Agency. So I went to the Law Enforcement Complaints Agency, LECA, made a complaint. They asked a few questions. Did the officer use sirens? Did the officer use lights? In the video, you can see he used neither of those tools to pull me over. He just ripped me off the, like, you guys saw what happened. There was no sirens, there was no lights. So, I answered no to both those questions, and they were like, all right, cool, good to know. We're gonna do this complaint and we're gonna take it seriously. Consider this investigation started. Awesome. Then I noticed I hadn't been like informed about anything for about like a month. So I reached out and I said, hey guys, I was wondering if there was like an email or something I could send the proof or pictures of the damage to my motorcycle from the dude dropping it. If anyone here rides motorcycles, you know a bike like dropped from standing straight up on the side. There's quite a bit of force there. The MT-09 I think is like 410, 420 pounds. It's not like a particularly light bike. So, and I got a response email saying the investigation has already been concluded and I should check my mail for basically their decision on the matter. Guess what? Their decision was no misconduct was found, even though every single person that watches that video can see, like, I had a license plate on the bike. The bike's insured. Like, you use your sirens, your lights, I'm gonna pull over. I'm not gonna run with a license plate registered to me on the fuck. You guys have logic, so you could probably understand where I'm coming from, but the officer didn't. So, yeah, so you guys, there's probably 150 comments telling me to get a lawyer. I've contacted so many lawyers. In my position, no one's gonna take it like, God damn it, what's the word? Where they don't get paid until they get, unless we win. I forget, there's a term. But everyone wanted massive amounts of money to sue the police. We're talking like $500 to $1,000 an hour. I think like the average was like $850 an hour they wanted. They all saw the video. They were like, yeah, you have a case, 100%. But this is like our hourly rate. I reached out to so many lawyers. the juice was not worth the squeeze in that defense. All right, so I tried to do the complaints through our the police force that did it. Like, what are you? Why would you? So, anyways, then I have traffic court, right? So I had a ticket. I had what's it called? A stunt riding ticket. So I go to court and I'm like, listen, I asked for an early resolution meeting in Canada. I don't know what it is in the States, but it's basically you go in and you talk to the prosecutor and you try to work out a deal so that it's like maybe a couple points come off the tickets, maybe a fine or something. But yeah, he was like, no, we're not offering you anything. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he was like, no, take it to court. And I was like, all right, cool, we're going to court. Then when I went to court, my first appearance, where they basically like figure everything out, see what I'm saying? I was like, can I speak to you for a second before we went into court? And I showed him the video of what took place during, like, when he ripped me off the motorcycle. And the dude was a complete prick. Like, the prosecutor, at my early resolution meeting, I said, hey, you guys booked this for months ago and I showed up. And he was like, oh, you should have been able to do that by Zoom. Like, basically, like, sorry for showing up to my court date. Like, every single person in Guelph, it's Guelph, Ontario, Canada, are complete fucking morons when we're talking about the government, the governing bodies, the police, the courts, like absolute fucking inept morons. And they're in charge of shit. So, I showed the prosecutor at my first court date, I showed the prosecutor the video, and he was like, oh, leave this with me and I'll figure it out. And I was like, okay. So right before he called my name, we're in front of the judge, he calls my name and he's like, oh yeah, shit, sorry. And he pulls a manila envelope in front of his mouth and he's like, I'm gonna drop it to a 2-point ticket because stunt riding is a 2-year license suspension. I think it was $2,000. Like, it was a bunch of crazy shit. Like, it would have fucking ruined me for a while, right? So, he ended up dropping the, what was it? He dropped the stunt riding ticket to a legal lane change to avoid an accident. Like, it's insane. It's absolute bullshit. I think we all know this. But yeah, that's what took place from this ticket. It's absolute nonsense. I know the police officer got in shit for it, but like not nearly as much as he should have. Hopefully he was fired. I don't know. But yeah, I think you should all probably call the Guelph Police Department in Ontario, Canada, and give them a piece of your mind. Let them know what you saw in the video and how it made you feel. Now that this video is done and out, I can make new content because I've tried to make this video 100 times, guys. I'm really sorry. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Love you guys. Talk soon.